This is Zero Hedge. 2020 race is over. Post-mortem of second Democratic debate. Kamala Harris crushes Bernie and Biden. President Trump commented on the second Democratic Party primary debate as his meeting began with German Chancellor Angela Merkel at the group of the G20 summit in Japan. He said, "They definitely have plenty of candidates. That's about it," Trump said of the debate while seated next to Merkel. "I look forward to spending time with you rather than watching." I'm sure these candidates don't look... they ain't going to be enjoying their time with Trump because he's going to clock them. But he's waiting. He's waiting to see who's going to be the front runner. So, but he's still, has his swipes at each one of them. Which ones are actually pertinent to the 2020 election, because there's a whole bunch of them that ain't gonna make it. This second debate last night was just Joe Biden talking. He talked 14 minutes. Okay, so the previous night's debate, he added, wasn't very exciting. "How about taking care of the American citizens first?" Trump tweeted. "That's the end of the race." And if the extremist perspectives of the primary continue, that may well be true. The New York Post seems to agree, because on the front of the New York Post, it looks like it says, "All major Democratic candidates raise hand in favor of free health care for illegal immigrants." Okay, exactly. That's just what this country needs. Yeah, to take care of its people, take care of the people from some other country. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. "Who wants to lose the election?" it says on the front of the New York Post. Analyst on 20-year win streak makes 8th prediction. Each of his 7 major predictions have come true, but his 8th prediction could be his most controversial by far. Night 2 of the first Democratic primary debate, featuring most of the heavy hitters among the 25 field of candidates, promised to be less mundane than the first night. The event lived up to that promise. Most of the 10 candidates seemed more feisty than their colleagues who debated on night 1. The Democrats may be fatally flawed in their search for a candidate who can defeat President Donald Trump in 2020, though the flaw is fundamental understanding of what America is all about. Yeah, America's about America, not like all the freebies you're going to give to someone that's foreign outside this country. Come on now. There was far more confrontation this time between the candidates, and whereas the first night President Donald Trump was hardly mentioned, several of the second night candidates launched hysterical and exaggerated attacks upon the man that they aspire to replace. How are you going to replace a guy that has the best economy that we've ever had in this entire nation? How are you going to replace him? He's irreplaceable. I mean, have you ever seen even another Republican candidate even take on the establishment like him? I mean, it's not just because he's Republican. He's for the American people in general. And he even says it. He tells you exactly in his speeches, okay, we did this for African Americans. Okay, we did this for Hispanics. We also did this for everybody else. And then he did this for women. He did that. He'll tell you exactly what he did. I mean, you can even check to see if he did those things. And he did. And, it's like he promises something, he keeps it. These people on the Democratic side, they're just they'll promise something and the next day they forget it. It's just like Joe Biden, where he flip-flops on abortion and all kinds of things. Now, the pressure of the competition, it may have been the lineup itself that spurred a more fierce and passionate exchange. Senators Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders, former Vice President Joe Biden, and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg are all considered leading contenders for Democratic nomination, and so the pressure was on for each of them to stand out. For those of the candidates who may be considered less likely to make the stage at the 2020 Democratic Party convention, the opportunity to hold their own against the frontrunners was too good to pass up. Yeah, those that know they're not going to make it to that stage should just drop out as it is. I mean, de Blasio is one of them. He should know he's not done much for many other human beings other than himself and his wife. I mean, there's so many scandals with them. I mean, where's the? I think it was $800 million that his wife was given to start a psychiatric treatment center in New York, but no one knows where the money is all of a sudden, and the people that gave him the money are like, where's the money? There's no center, and you know, we gave it to Bill de Blasio's wife, you know, so she's just as corrupt as he is. Now, let's see, continuing on, Zero Hedge, the common theme of socialized healthcare, following the same format as previous night's debate, the first half hour was devoted to the issue of healthcare. The candidates touted variations of the same policy goal, which is to take the nation into a government-run single-payer system. Sanders and Harris were the only two candidates who signaled their intention to completely do away with private health care insurance. It is worth noting that even in European countries operating variations of socialized health care systems, private insurance is still an option. Removing even the possibility of a private option is an extreme position, even when viewed through a global perspective. Sanders claimed under his system, Americans would be able to choose their doctor and choose which hospital they visit. But the nation has heard all this before. In a single-payer system with no private option, this is quite simply a false promise. And interestingly, every candidate pledged that their respective healthcare policies would include coverage for illegal aliens. Why not they get their own coverage and become legal? Okay? How about that? I don't think that's, what they're thinking of. Because they view all these illegal aliens as voters because that's the only way they can get votes. Right now, it's not even looking good for them with, the African American community, Hispanic community that's here legally. So they have to do something to bribe the vote with reparations and also try to bribe the vote for illegal immigrants to come here. And, these different states that are letting illegal immigrants vote, why isn't any of these people getting arrested that's allowing them to? I mean, I'm really surprised that some of these sanctuary city mayors or whatnot are also not getting arrested or some sort of punishment for them for, that doing something against the law. I mean, you break the law, you kind of get punished. I mean, that's what happens to me and you, right? Because we're low-level bottom feeders or whatever. That's what they think. But now Sanders claimed that under his system, Americans would be able to choose their doctor and choose which hospital they visit. But the nation has heard this before. Yeah, I was about to say that. In a single-payer system with no private option, this is quite simply a false promise. We already know that from Obamacare, yes. Interestingly, every candidate pledged that their respective healthcare policies would include coverage for illegal aliens. As with the first round of this debate, discussion spanned on gun violence, immigration, climate change, foreign policy. As with the first round, there were all kinds of vague promises to quickly solve all these problems. Often on day one of the new president's term, one wonders how these issues have not been long ago resolved if they were all so simple to deal with. So they're ranking the different candidates who won. They're saying Kamala Harris won. Marianne Williamson, I apologize. She's not going to win to be president anyway, so Marianne Williamson. She's second, but she's nobody. You might as well say her name is blah, 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 because she's not going to win. Okay, so there's Kamala Harris, Marianne Williamson, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders. Oh, yeah. Bernie. Her first opportunity to speak came as several candidates. This is Kamala Harris. Her first opportunity to speak came as several candidates were already talking over each other. When finally the moderators claimed the crosstalk, Harris said, "Guys, you know what? America does not want a witness to a food fight. They want to know how we're going to put food on the table." I mean, tell us. I mean, to be honest with you, there's been very little how that they've ever told us, the Democratic candidates, how they're going to benefit the American people. I mean, these giveaways are not going to help anybody. They're giving away money and health care to illegals. How does that help anybody in America? It doesn't. The only person that it helps is the Democrats, because they're getting money by these illegals coming over. You think that they don't have some sort of interest in all these illegals coming over with all the drugs and everything that's coming over? Oh, they got some interest in this somehow. It's more than, and then they don't want to stop all the sex crimes. It's so hilarious though, because like, you know, AOC the other day was saying, oh, well, we got to stop, we got to help all these children in these buildings that aren't being helped. They're being held in cages or something like that. I think that's what she said. And it's like, okay, but then like as soon as Wayfair was gonna build all the beds for the kids, and then everybody protested and ran out, and nobody can make the beds for Wayfair now. She was like, yes, yes. So, what are you for, AOC? Are you for the kids? Or are you against the kids? So AOC, it's funny because she'd probably be the best candidate of all these people that are running for president right now, even though it's her first term and everything. I think Democrats just put her in there and it's like, she'd be like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I have a lot of excitement running around me. I'm really exciting candidate because I say some weird stuff. They'd vote her in. I mean, you know, she'd probably be primaried in. She'd beat Biden. She's more exciting, and she's more like minority than, you know, Biden, because he's a white guy, and you know, they really don't want an old white guy running the party again. So here we go. Joe Biden. For his first part, Biden leaned heavily on his political resume. He almost began every one of his answers to the moderator's question by pointing out, I'm the only guy to get this or that done. He also asserted that he was not going to support any attempt to get rid of Obamacare. That should be the end of his candidacy right there. Anybody that wants Obamacare, did you see how well it worked out in the last 5-6 years? Yeah, it really worked out, didn't it? Because everybody was forced to buy insurance or pay a penalty even if you didn't get insurance, and you couldn't even use the insurance even if you had, you know, even if you did get run over by tractors, like, oh, well, that's not good enough, sorry. So Biden, the former VP, is currently well ahead in the polls, and he got plenty of speaking time, although he did not put on a stellar performance. His campaign strategy is clear, portraying himself as the most experienced candidate and trying to outdo his competitors attacking the president. It is hard to escape the feeling, however, that the party's base may be more attracted to younger blood and fresher ideas. Mayor Buttigieg spoke well and held his own, but was not remarkable. None of them are really remarkable, to be honest, quite honest. He did himself no harm in the debate, though, and is likely to remain competitive in the race for his nomination, even though Buttigieg brings nothing unique to the contest. His plan, like all others, is to give out free stuff and hope that somehow he can tax the wealthy and the corporations in perpetuity to pay for it all. Right, in perpetuity, that means forever. If you've ever read like a business agreement in perpetuity, you never sign something like if you owe like a royalty to someone, never sign it where it's in perpetuity, because that means it's forever. Forever. So, just letting you know. Representative Eric Swalwell did little to boost his campaign. Don't know him. Don't really care. And he was not alone in failing to leave an impression. Senator Gillibrand chimed in frequently and constantly went over her allotted time. It was clear she desperately needed the attention, and who can blame her for not seizing the opportunity? Like Swalwell, however, she failed to leave her mark. Boy, what a shame. Oh. Bernie Sanders appeared to be fading. His performance in the debate may well give his campaign a new lease on life. The Vermont senator is always the angry socialist revolutionary, though, who is entirely incapable of speaking to people. Instead, he lectures, and though his strident tone may appeal to many young uninformed idealists, it will not win over a large enough number of Americans to secure him a victory against Trump. No. He always sounds like a grumpy old man yelling at kids to get off his lawn and constantly telling everybody how terrible things are, when in fact they're really not that terrible. It's not a winning strategy. Hey you, get off my lawn. Go ahead. Hey you. Two people on the stage shared the distinction of not being politicians, though they are not at all similar, and their respective fortunes in this race will likely be different. Entrepreneur and philanthropist Andrew Yang has a unique and fairly nonpartisan approach to domestic and economic policy. Acquitted himself well in the debate, clearly demonstrating that he has a better head for figures than any other candidate. The question for Yang, though, is whether he can capture the imagination of the party's primary voters. Given the competition, his chances are slim. He's just not exciting enough. I mean, the only one that really has excitement is AOC! 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on, AOC. That'd be so great. Trump versus AOC. Oh, you talk excitement. We just, wonder which dumb thing she's going to say next week. She says she has a degree in economics. But she proves she doesn't, within very shortly into her interviews that she's had. It doesn't take long to know that she's not a brainiac or anything like that. Now, author Marianne Wilson was given very little opportunity to speak and appeared to have no specific policy ideas, though she did make what was perhaps the most perceptive observation of the night, having listened to the various vague plans presented to solve all the nation's ills, real or perceived. Williamson said, Trump didn't win because he had a plan. He won by simply saying, make America great again. But see, here's the thing. I haven't seen a Democrat in this entire race tell me exactly what they're going to do that's going to benefit Americans. They're always telling me, oh, well, we're going to do this for illegal immigrants. Oh, we're going to do this for illegal immigrants. Or we're going to do this for just one group of people. Or we're just going to do that for this other group of people. Why can't you just cover all the American people and say, yeah, I'm going to do all this for all the people? You can't do that. You got to have your identity politics and all that. So I guess it looks like Joe Biden spoke for 14 minutes. Kamala Harris was 12. Sanders was 11. Buttigieg was a little under 11. O'Rourke was under 11. Booker was a little bit less than 11 minutes. Let's see. Warren spoke less than some candidates who trail her in the polls, including Booker and O'Rourke. Yang got much less time to speak than others, polling lower than him. Okay. And this is from Bloomberg, they say. It's from the source Bloomberg. Flawed thinking and lack of vision, therein lies the flaw in the Democratic thinking. Single-issue candidates and policy wonks do not win presidential elections. The victorious candidate is the man or woman with the broadest ideas and the most optimistic vision. Reagan, Obama, and Trump are good examples. Going back further into American political history, Franklin D. Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy were other examples. Every one of these Democratic candidates is promising a vision of vast central government administrating almost every aspect of American life. They're gambling or persuading the nation that government alone can make life better and that somehow only government is able to create cost-effective and efficient solutions. Right. We're not for these big government people. I mean, it's like Reagan came along and he said, if you have a person come along and say, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, run, because, government is the problem. So, I mean, and it's true because if you've seen some of these social programs that we have, nothing gets done, but they sure hemorrhage a lot of money. I mean, how many programs can we eliminate right now that would save us billions of dollars? I'm guaranteeing there's a bunch. But, Trump is trying to do that, but, he's got everybody in the world against him. And it's, but he's got all the honest people in the world on his side. So now let's see. It says even worse for the Democratic Party is that none of these candidates, save one, has the kind of sweeping vision that captures the imagination of the public. For all the proposed solutions of free government services, they are not big thinkers. Sanders has a big, radical, transformative vision, but his would lead ultimately to a Soviet-style government, and there are still too many voting Americans who are old enough to remember the horrors of that regime. You know, if we ever... I just can't even believe that socialism is an actual choice that's on the table. It's like Russia, it didn't work. Venezuela, right now, currently, right now, this moment, it's not working. People are starving. People are robbing graves just to get goods out of those graves so that they can pawn them or whatever and then buy food. It's like, if they can eat dirt off the ground, they would. I mean, seriously, they're starving. These people are starving. And this is what AOC, Bernie Sanders, and a bunch of other Democrats want us to go to. I can't even believe this is a choice. I can't believe, we have, don't call this a democracy right now, because to be honest with you, it should be like two choices, but like, maybe we disagree moderately with a few choices, but these are extreme choices. It's almost like they want to be Hitler when they become president, these Democrats. I mean, I can't even imagine that we've come to a point in our history where these people actually think that socialism is a choice, and they want to get, they want us to give up all our money and our goods and everything and share them with everybody. Well, they better give up their goods and everything, but they ain't going to. They want to be the ones in power that own everything, and somehow your money is going to end up in their hands. That's how it works. Socialism isn't a fair system. No. It's they get to decide who has the money. They get to decide this and that. And if they don't like your opinion, they're going to cut you off from the marketplace. So, all right. You have a great day. And guys, take care of yourselves. Peace.